In focus now, Senator John Barrasso of the great state of Wyoming, ranking member of the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee and chairman of the Senate Republican Conference. Great to see you in focus today. Let's start with the report that Jackie Heinrich just gave, that there is a call among some Democrats to strip Joe Manchin of his committeeships. What is going on there?
Well, what's going on, Harris, is that the president and the great majority of Democrats are completely out of touch with the American people. They're claiming that there is a climate crisis. You know, there are a lot of crises in the country right now. There's an inflation crisis, an energy crisis, a border crisis, a crime crisis. But the White House and the Democrats have a crisis, too. A crisis of competence and a crisis of credibility. They've lost it. So the president is now heading, at the bequest of all these Democrats, to Massachusetts today because he is beholden to the climate extremists. Two-thirds of Americans are facing a summer of blackouts, and two-thirds of Americans say the president and the Democrats are focusing on the wrong things, things they don't care about. We need all of the energy. The American people get it. The American people get that there's a gap between reliable energy and renewable energy. People want available and affordable energy.
Look, for a long time, Joe Manchin's state, West Virginia, has been in the crosshairs of Democrats. I mean, you remember what Obama, what Hillary Clinton, when she was running, what they would talk about, they would just get rid of coal. And now, you're right, we need all of the energy. We had all the energy 18 months ago before Biden was in office. I want to get to this. The Wall Street Journal editorial board with this out. European leaders boast about supporting net zero emissions targets in 2050. If they're convinced climate change is an emergency, this failure to do anything to make life more livable today and in the coming years is inexcusable. They just want us to, what, suffer until they can get what they want?
Well, I think the administration does want us to suffer. They said this is the price we have to pay for what the liberal world order. I mean, that's what they've talked about in this incredible transition and the pain of it all. The Secretary of Transportation yesterday said, you don't like the cost of gasoline, just buy an electric vehicle. A lot of people can't afford those. And where do they think the electricity comes from, Harris? Look, we all want to make energy as clean as we can, as fast as we can, and we do it in ways that don't raise costs for American families. Energy has to be affordable. That is the main concern right now of families all across the country.
And what you said is just so important for people to hear. Where do you think the electricity comes from? And if you lean on it hard and have grid problems like they're going to have in this heat wave, it's already starting, Senator Barrasso, this summer. It's a hot one out there. And you have those brown and blackouts. When that happens, the cost of, well, the energy goes up. Even electricity is not going to be super cheap. All right, let's get to this. The nation's climate czar, yeah, we have one, John Kerry, called out for being an energy hypocrite. Federal data now showing Kerry's massive carbon footprint because his family's gas-guzzling private jet has racked up 48 trips since President Biden was sworn in. John Kerry's family ride has put out more than 300 metric tons of carbon dioxide. I looked it up at the EPA website. That is equivalent to driving 747,000 miles in a gas-fueled vehicle. One more point of hypocrisy. Right now, the White House is pushing massive spending to kill fossil fuels, making gas scarce. That'll undoubtedly drive up the price again. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg wants you, as Senator Barrasso just reminded us, to drive an electric car right now in an inflation crisis. Who has the cash, Senator?
Well, people don't have the money for any of those things, which is why we need to eliminate every Democrat who's running for office this year. We got to defeat all of them in November to put the Republicans in charge in the House and in the Senate. You just talked about John Kerry. He has been a hypocrite all the way through on so many items, but he thinks we're going to power the world, or at least tells the world we need to power ourselves on the sun and wind and wishful thinking. That's not helping the American families right now who are living with 40-year high inflation, sky-high gas prices, almost $2 a gallon more than when President Biden came into office. And the Democrats are doing nothing to help solve the problem. They want to keep the energy in the ground. We have the energy right here in America. We don't have to go overseas as President Biden did last week, hat in hand, to beg Saudi Arabia for more energy, or to go to Iran, or to go to Venezuela. That's a terrible way for a country to be run, but that's what we have right now, which is why we need to change things come November.
Senator John Barrasso of Wyoming, so great to have you in focus today. Thank you for your perspective and your time.
Thanks, Harris.